I think I heard it come through now. Hello, Spudley, you there, mate?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, there we go. It's a lot different having it set up on the PS5. It's
It's all good. Are we live now, or?
yeah, it's all hopefully fingers crossed good to go. So.
Ah, yeah, cool. All right, so we got 6 entries tonight.
Yes.
Just about that. You can make that full screen, or not? Or is that just as much as it goes?
I should be able to make it full screen soon. I need to. Mate, this fucking. Holy shit. Oops, my bad. Need need to reduce the size of these. Just leave it there for now. Just give me a second.
Yeah. No, you're right, man. That's all good. I'll get started. Jump in.
Yeah.
So, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to what is a brand new era here at Trackstars Racing Series, where we are introducing to you the old spec Group 2 cars, GT500s from back in 2008. Yes, it is the classics of Group 2 racing, but as in Trackstars, we call it the Trackstars TS3 division. So it is a division where we give those drivers where they have a DR rating, a driver rating of lower than B, and sportsmanship rating obviously S, because we want everyone to be nice and clean. And then obviously we want to make sure as well that we don't want to have the faster guys jumping in here, and so that way we've actually gone through a time selection from the circuit experience that we have going on at Trackstars, that if you clock over 2 minutes 20, you won't be eligible, but if you clock under 2 minutes 21, then you will be eligible for this series. So we don't want to see any little cheeky slow times and think, well, can I compete? And then they win the championship. So who knows? We could have a few of those pop in our lobbies now and then, but that's all right. But it's all for the fun. It is a new series. It is the first round of TS3. We are live here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix in Germany, where the GP circuit opened up in 2003, and putting on a show of spectacular moments such as Formula One racing, DTM racing, and even some truck racing around the Nürburgring Grand Prix. But obviously, as we see Warpath 360 from the WRT Motorsport team, he's coming up towards the chicane at the end, towards the end of the lap, and go straight ahead, turn right, you go to the start-finish lane. Go straight ahead and turn left, you enter the Nordschleife. So it is a fascinating concept. So TS3 racing, three make models, just like you see in our Trackstars Touring Car Series, sponsored by Elite Braking Mechanical and the TS2 Touring Cars. We have the three manufacturers in Lexus, Nissan, and Honda. So it's the old school spec Nissans with the old school spec Lexus and the old school spec Honda NSXs. But I don't know about you, DJ, but I'm loving the sound of these cars, but I still can't get my admiration away from the Lexus that Benjo 19 is displaying right now for us.
Yeah, I'm a bit about the same for you, man. Like, as much as I love the Honda and the Nissan, I can't get away from that nice punchy V8 feeling that you get, the little grumble that comes through the corners. It's just something else.
It sounds like just like the actual like an actual AMG SLS. You know, when you hear those cars on the road, just like little grumble of the V8 from an AMG SLS, and it just sounds amazing. And now this car in this game is even more amazing. Very heavy, dark pitched, but then you look at it, guys. I don't think there's actually any Hondas here tonight, but if we look up towards the front, we do see a debuting driver in the form of a New Zealander, Sirik, who joins us from WTCC and from the ICE-R Racing Group. He races in the Group 3 and Master Touring Cars and the Formula Championship down in WTCC. So give them a shout out, give them a follow, and maybe you might be able to join in for a few races with those guys. Warpath 360 also displaying the Nissan 2008 model GTR as he's coming around towards the final corner. Is he going to improve his time? It looks like he might be getting close, but he's not going to be able to improve his time, and he stays second place. SS Boy 82 from M&R Racing coming around towards the final corner, displaying a nice retro Trackstars logo on the bonnet there. So unfortunately he's not going to improve his time, with ICE-R Benjo down in 19th place. New Zealand Cowboy, I wonder if he can improve his time. Maybe Benjo might be able to improve his time as well, because you see him coming across the line. He doesn't. He actually moves up into third place though. So a solid lap time from Benjo 19 there, the leader of the ICE-R community, as NZL Cowboy moves himself up into fourth place there. What about Heath and Pride? So the No, unfortunately, it looks like he's done as well. So, qualifying is over. The grid is set. 6 cars this evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is a 2-race format of 50 kilometers for the inaugural Trackstars TS3 Championship.
This is a nice. Got 6 cars here, so if any of you guys watching, guys and girls watching, know any friends that want to come along, want to jump into a feeder series that'll get you into the main series eventually, you can jump in, join in, sign up, and race against all these guys and girls.
We display the lights. As we see the lights, it is Styric with Warpath on the front row with Isar, Benjo, GLR 19 and NZL Cowboy. So it is the inaugural series of TS3 and we are underway. It is lights out, green flag racing, and we got ourselves off to a perfect start there with Styric getting himself a clean start ahead of the front. But what I see back there is I did see a bit of a... Oh, was that a bit of a freeze there from Heath and Pride? Or is he actually moving now? I'm not too sure. Yeah, he's moving, so he must have just jumped. He must have jumped to start there. So a little bit of hustle, a little bit of just unfamiliarity with these cars. But as we catch that replay of the race start, we do see a great launch that we see from Styric and with Warpath 360. So we might have to actually maybe get rid of that, because so that way we can get back into the action. So Heath and Pride down in 6th place, and we see Isar Benjo 19 taking a lead from Styric. The 2 Isar boys up in 1 and 2 for the first inaugural race here at Trackstars TS3 Racing Series, where we have Isar Benjo in the Lexus Petronas SD430 in 1st place, with Styric in the Nissan GTR in 2nd place. But it's a nice little balance here with 3 Lexus cars and 3 Nissan cars all spread out, but we don't see any Hondas there. Me knowing you, when we were doing our pre-season testing in the Hondas, that car can be a handful. As we see Warpath go for an amazing move there, just send it at liquor stamp and send it right off the inside. What a move from Warpath 360.
Yeah, that was one.
Yeah, exactly. But like going back to what I was saying, like with the testing, and we're trying to make sure that the Honda NSX is very powerful in a straight line, but when it comes to the corners, me watching the arse of your car sliding about, I'm not so sure if people are favouring at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a handful, but once you get it tuned down and settled down, it's good to go. As we see Styric down here trying to put a move on Benjo, but he can't quite get it done, and Benjo holds on, or Styric gets a little bit looser on the exit of turn 1.
Nearly lost it there, Styric. There's a nice little recovery there, but he's not letting go of Isar Benjo 19. So can he collect the first win of the Trackstars TS3 division? But there's only about 8 laps to go, so it's a bit too early to call. But so there's plenty of racing to go, and these guys are really close to each other, and this is the perfect category, like you said, just to get ourselves, just to develop drivers and have an understanding of the cars, kind of like you see in the supercars, and they have their Super 2 and Super 3 feeder series, where you see developmental drivers coming through the old category cars before they move up to Super 2s, and then even one day you could be like hopefully maybe be like a Brock Feeney and graduate up to the top team in supercars next year.
Yeah, exactly. I was obviously watching when they were in Townsville and stuff like that. Oh, sorry. Brock Feeney actually did really well, and then you had Nash Morris leading the TS3. So I reckon with that seat of Jamie Wincup's getting vacant, Brock Feeney might be a favourite to get that seat.
Yeah, I believe so. He's a young talent, and he's a great talent. His progression throughout the ranks has been amazing. But as we see side by side with Styric and Warpath going door handle to door handle, oh, a little bit of a lag there from Styric. So I wonder if he must have got a little bit of a lag punch from Isar Benjo 19 from his teammate there. So we've got ourselves a couple of teams in here. So we see a well-known familiar team in the Trackstars community that is in Isar Racing Group, which stands for Intercontinental Esports Racing Series. What is it called? I think it's Intercontinental Esports Racing Group. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one we're looking for.
That's the one. So we've got those two leading up in 1 and 3, and then you've got a team with the M&R boys in SS Boy and NZL Cowboy leading a 2-car factory team in the Lexus. And the only team coming from WRT Motorsport is Warpath 360. He's doing a great job in second place. And down in sixth place, he hasn't got the paint, but we do know Heath and Pride is an It's Racing esports driver, and he's actually kind of, and he's basically learning back from when he was racing back in GT5, GT6 days. So he's just getting himself familiar to the game because he's only been on the game for like maybe 2 months, and he's already planning a massive event coming up in the middle of next year. So plenty of time to work your magic there, Heath and Pride. But hopefully this is a learning curve for you as we look up towards ISA Benjo 19, looking to maintain that first position from Warpath and Cyric, but he's just having a bit of a struggle there as Warpath thinks about a move, he doesn't think about it, but Cyric's right there, and we knew in the pre-season this would be close racing, but this close and on the first race, surely not.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised on how close these guys are. They're putting up a good fight between each other.
As Benjo can't defend that position, but he might break a little bit too deep. He has broken deep, and they've all broken deep, and they've got themselves a restart. So Benjo 19, I keep getting confused with his old gamer tag with the GLR with Gridline Racing, but ISA Benjo 19 having a bit of a reset there, and that is the most unfortunate thing you can have as we see.
What is going on?
As we catch ourselves a replay. Oh, we might not catch a replay, but we look up towards the front. It is Cyric, the pole man, making a move on Warpath 360. They go side by side into turn 1, coming around that first corner. I didn't see they were still side by side, but is anyone going to make a mistake? Are they still going to hold around side by side, come through the turn 2, turn 3 complex? No. So Warpath takes the lead for the first race here at Trackstars TS3 Racing Series. There it is, Warpath 360 for WRT, Cyric for ISR in representing New Zealand in second, ISR Benjo 19 after that unfortunate reset there, just cutting the chicane and just the game, reset himself back on the track in third, SS Boy and NZL Cowboy in fourth and fifth, with Heath and Pride right down in sixth place. So Heath and Pride's basically going to be, as we mentioned, he's just getting those mileage points and basically getting the experience for his big event coming up next year, which we can announce, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Nürburgring 24-hour event at Trackstars 2022, where you as a driver get to pick your team and you guys get to do it locally. So it'll be run for 24 hours straight. So it'll be the old classic switcheroo, cockpits, jumping in the sim, swapping controllers, swapping pads, you know, all that fun stuff. So hopefully we'll see a few people, and we might even see a few people come from here, from TS3. But we see Warpath leading the way ahead of Cyric and ISR Benjo 19.
Yeah, that'll be a damn good event to watch, and I know myself, I won't be competing in that because I do not like the Nürburgring at all.
Oh, I think you might get a bit of hate coming from the chat. Just show a bit of hate to DJ in the chat, please, folks, because that's just a bit rude.
Oh, come on. Don't be like that, mate. We all have our good and bad tracks.
Exactly. I mean, we don't want to really talk about a top list, but we don't want to talk about a top list. We want to talk about this battle going on between Warpath and Cyric, ISR versus WRT. So it's a great showing for the Nissan so far. What was looking like to be a great start for the Lexus, looks like the Nissan, I think, just overall, it just seems to be the better car, more stable and looks like probably more grunt.
Yeah, as we see in the main series as well, the cars are all obviously got their positive and negative attributes, but if you can get a handle of the cars, then any car of the three can win. But and one simple mistake can make that all come undone, as we've seen from Benjo in the chicane.
Warpath just chucking it in there, just throwing it into the corners. Like the last few laps, it's just been thrown and drifting. An initial D style coming out of the Dunlop corner just before the Michael Schumacher S, and he's still getting pressured by Cyric. They're going to go side by side at the end of the Schumacher S down into turn 10. Is he going to make that move stick? He doesn't. So Warpath holding on very tight on those old drums, those old brakes. Brake disc in the Nissan GTR are holding him up, and they're giving him great performance when it comes to the braking zone. But still leading the way, it is Warpath with Cyric and ISR Benjo 19 in third place. Yeah,
we see if Benjo can bring back this 9 second gap, and obviously the little bit of the pressure there got to him with having the two cars right behind him, and then he just missed his braking marker and ended up getting reset by the good old Gran Turismo physics.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there with the Gran Turismo plagues, but you know what can you do? I mean, we've got ourselves a great battle. But I mean, one driver that we couldn't see get in amongst this fight. We still see two great drivers coming through. We see Sirik and Warpath still going side by side, and they're just going hammer and tong with these battles. It's amazing to see for the first race. All Nissans up at the front too. It's great to see. You see Heath and Pride, but actually we don't want to talk about Heath and Pride. We see Sirik make a move on Warpath 360 at the exit of the long sweeping right-hander, left-hander before a flick to the right, and he retakes the lead from what was pole position at the start of the race, and is making a move stick on Warpath 360.
Yeah, you see some funny going on in the chat here with SS Boy and Benjo, but that might be something for the stewards to review at the end of this one.
Not too sure, I didn't really catch that, unfortunately. So.
I didn't catch it either, I'm too busy watching this battle go on.
Yeah, exactly, but I feel like now that Sirik's just pulled away and he's just got himself a little bit of clear air, and he's been the one that's been piling on the pressure, as we see Warpath abusing the brakes on that Nissan GTR. It's an old car, Warpath. I don't think it can cope with deep brakes anymore, with deep braking anymore.
Yeah, it's the old brakes might not pay off for it in the end. Because he might be losing that a little bit more time as we see him go really deeply here into the chicane. Luckily, not to cause an accident there to Sirik.
Ooh, he's piling on the pressure, and he's thinking about it. He's thinking about making a move on Sirik for first place, but he's now just dropped way too far back, and it looks like he's just out of the slipstream. And if Sirik keeps a clean head for the next 4 laps, that's the first victory is going to go to Sirik and to the ISR Racing Group.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously with this group, we've disabled tuning, made them all level. So if no one can have different kinds of setups and stuff like that. So it makes it all even. So that way you don't have to worry about tuning during the week and testing and practicing. That way you can just jump in, race the car, go for your life, and try and get a win.
Exactly. Just jump in the car, have a great time. And yeah, and hopefully you come out with the best result in a race victory or even a podium. But as we see NZL Cowboy and ISAR Benja 19 battling it out for third place, the two Lexus cars battling it out for third place. I wonder if maybe SS Boy's a little bit too far away. So it's all about Benjo and NZL Cowboy in third and fourth, who's the only Lexus cars that can be in contention for a podium position. So unfortunately for Benjo, could have been up towards the front, but he's going to have to probably settle down for third, if not fourth place. But still a great result. But even though it's a small field, hey, you know, people can jump in last minute in the next round or the round after. We have 2 drop rounds in TS3, so it gives plenty of opportunities. We see NZL Cowboy make a huge mistake there, and he goes spinning around.
Replay? No, the replay's not working for us. It's going back to the start. Oh, that's unfortunate.
You might have to talk to Jarman on how to work the replay. So that's okay. So unfortunately, yeah, but I think we just caught it without you needing the replay. And SNL Cowboy just got a little bit too much power, got a bit too throttle happy on the exit of Dunlop Curve, and just the pure power of the V8 engine that is in the Lexus SC430. It just threw the car around, and the car just said sayonara.
Yeah, and as we know from personal experience there, Spud, that if you get on the gas too early, one of these things, they can tell you to either be on the racetrack or sayonara into the fence.
Exactly. Well, if we have to go back to our racing that we did that we do in the what's the word I'm looking for, in our Honda NSXs, and we try to drive it around here, I'm not too sure. I'm not so sure if we'll be able to keep it on the track.
Yeah, well, obviously we didn't test it in here, so I guess that's probably a good thing. As we see Sirik here pulled out a little bit of a gap down to 2.2 seconds down to Warpath. So if he keeps his head clear and keeps hitting his lines and apexes, we may see Sirik here get the inaugural win of the first round of the first race of the TS3 series.
Great showing for Sirik here on his debut at Trackstars Racing. So it's his first race at Trackstars Racing. He only just jumped in the Discord I believe it was yesterday or even today. I mean, I'm not too sure, but it's his first race, and he's delivering the goods, and he's just putting on a clinical performance, just getting it from pole position and getting himself right up towards the front within those few laps, and having a great battle with Benjo and Warpath. But we're just seeing a bit of class now and a little bit of more calmness in Cyric and Warpath, and he's just going to take out possibly line honours with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, we may have given him a commentator's curse a bit there, because that time seems to have dropped a little tiny bit. As you see yellow flags in sector 1. Who's this? Oh, Heathen's pulled up on the front straight.
He's just maybe just probably an engine damage. I mean, that's what you get from these old cars. Unfortunately, they run for so many kilometers, and then you just want to coop it up and put a racing series, and then they just blow an engine. So that's probably what Heathen Bride got. So he's probably had to retire the car there and just jumping out of the cockpit and just jumping back into the It's Racing garage, saying, "Where's my paint job?" Because the It's Racing Esports paint job could give me at least a podium position.
Yeah, well, as we see, the It's Racing cars having pretty good success in the TS1, the TS2, and unfortunately, not the TS3 as of yet. We'll see what he's coming yet to see at the end of this series.
Exactly. So he's got he definitely has a lot of learning to do, and he's just definitely going to get himself accustomed to the game, because he's only been on it for at least a month, I'd say, a month and a half tops. So he's just early days, and basically, like, I think that's the great thing about this series, is that if you've just picked up the game and you just want to get familiar with like league racing, or you just want to understand how cars work and how racing in a packs work without losing DR or SR ratings, then why not? This series provides a great opportunity for the older and heavier like Group 2 cars, 2008 model Group 2 cars, and it gives drivers a great opportunity to display their racecraft, as we see with Warpath displaying a great recovery drive and getting himself right up into the slipstream range. So can he get close to the slipstream with 1 lap to go? Ladies and gentlemen, for the first race here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars, it is Cyric leading the way for ICE-R Racing, with Warpath 360 in second place, and Benjo 19 from the for the team boss of ICE Racing Group in third place, with SS Boy actually inheriting 4th place from his teammate in 5th place. And Heathen Pride, as we did mention, had to retire the car and is sitting down at the end of the garage, at the end of the pit lanes. But as we look up towards the front cameraman, it is Cyric that is leading the way with only a few corners, with only half a racetrack to go. But I wouldn't want to give the win away just yet for Cyric, because Warpath the last lap or so, he's been keeping him honest.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously, as we all know, the racing, you can get a win on the first corner, you can also get a win on the last corner. Anything is possible here. Drop a tyre onto the dirt or the grass, and you can lose up to at least a second and a half, and that's when Warpath might even be able to just shoot on through and catch the win. But it looks like as long as he keeps hitting his marks, he may have this one set.
Yeah, one of the most crucial corners of that one was the Dunlop curve there. And if you, like we saw with NZL Cowboy, that if you get a tire on the grass there, you go spinning. And this is another crucial corner as well, as we've seen in the recent Porsche Cup here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix in the elite class, where it was Cabans that was leading the way, had a bit of a spin onto the gravel within the first couple of laps. But Cyric here, no pressure at all, just a calm head, executing the last chicane for the final time for the first race here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars. Cyric's rounding up the final corner, and it's going to be Cyric for ICE-R Racing Group. Take a bow, son. You are the inaugural winner of TS3 Racing Series touring cars, and with the old Group 2 2008 model cars, it is Cyric and Warpath, the 1 and 2 for Nissan, with ICE-R Benjo 19 in the first of the Lexuses, taking a podium position. So great outing for Benjo as well, and one for him to be positive about, because he definitely showed some pace within those opening few laps, and hopefully that gives him some sort of motivation to put on a fight come race 2 later on.
Yeah, exactly. And it was unfortunate that he made that little mistake there and the game reset him, but we'll yet to see what race 2 gets, because we've seen him hold a lead out there for a few laps out there, and 10 laps for these guys might seem a little bit long for him, but that's what you get when you are trying to move up the ranks, I guess. got to adapt to the situation.
Exactly. Well, I believe the touring the TS2 is I believe it's 7 laps for those guys, but they do 3 races, so they basically get an extra lap compared to the TS3 guys. So yeah, so it's all about learning curves, and we've seen a few drivers such as Isa Benjo 19 came from TS2, but just decided just to say that he wasn't really enjoying it as much and just moved down to TS3. But one guy that's not upset and is not sad, it is Sirik taking the first victory here at Trackstars TS3 Racing Series in the touring cars with the old spec models, where we've got graduating, where drivers will hope to graduate to TS2 and even the main series come next year or within the next couple of years here at Trackstars.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to see they're all joining in for the race and seeing them all being competitive. But Heath and Reg State both. Oh, he's saying that it might be a bit of a regulation here, my friend. But just confirmation on the regulation. It does say racing soft tyres are the only tyres that are allowed to be used.
It's very important to read the driver's briefing before you jump in the lobby. But if you've just jumped in the lobby for the first time, then yeah, unfortunately, it's just about yeah. If you don't have time to read the driver's briefing, then just put the entry in, put the car in, and then just open up your phone and just read the driver's briefing just for a few minutes.
Yeah, and obviously, as we know from previous, you can either read the driver's briefing and get a win, or you don't read the driver's briefing, you get a win, you get a protested against you, and then you can lose it. So anything's possible.
That's right. So as we take a little break here, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get ourselves underway very shortly for the second race here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars. So stay tuned for race 2 coming up very shortly. Okay, yep, no worries. I have to set up the pre-qualifying lobby. Gotta set up the pre-qualifying lobby. Gotta keep an eye on the 24-hour. Fuck, I'm a busy man today. Catch up on the Discord because literally, like, since I've been racing, I haven't been on Discord except for like the group chat. Yeah, yeah, because there's been a few delays with like room closures and a few things. Oh, thanks, Salty. Thanks for the heads up.
Okay, as soon as Renegade jumps in, we'll be good to go. Hopefully Heathen is gonna race again. Still getting used to all this keyboard stuff.
Yeah, that's
Haven't
alright.
done keyboard
On GT.
Yeah, I've never used the keyboard on it.
It'll take some time. You'll find those shortcuts. There's plenty of areas plenty of websites to look at.
Yeah.
Just find shortcuts and stuff. So.
Yeah. So just getting confirmation here from Heathen to see if he's going to be racing race 2, but if not, then we'll be up and running again.
Well, hopefully anytime soon, because again we have few delays going everywhere. Anywhere I go, there's always a delay in something. So.
Oh, no, unlucky. Well, hopefully all is good, Heathen, on that side of things, my friends, but unlucky for that one. Hopefully we'll see if you can join for the rest of the season.
Unfortunate to see Heathen Pride. His car's been retired, so the It's Racing Esports Nissan number 5 entry has had to put the covers on and retire. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing Heathen Pride again for the race 2 here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars, where we have Sirik on pole position with Warpath in second place and Benjo GLR19 in third, with SS Boy in fourth, NZL Cowboy in fifth, and Renegade 4701 making a guest appearance tonight for the ISAR group. So 3 ISAR cars in the lobby. Is going to be Sirik, ISAR, Benjo, and Renegade. So it's going to be an all-out fest for these guys as we get ready for our lights for our second race here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars. And it's going to be go! It is Sirik leading the way ahead of Warpath, but again, Benjo gets himself a great start, but Sirik gets an even better start as he leads in towards turn 1 with Benjo. GLR19 thinking about making an outside move on Warpath, and he has done it. He gets the inside line for turn 2, so great start for Benjo to get a great launch in that Lexus, and I know the Lexus has a really great launch in that car, so Benjo's put that to perfection. But one guy that has got his car to perfection is Sirik, leading the way for not the first time here in Trackstars, as we saw it taking his first victory in TS3, but now leading the way. But it looks like he's got a comfortable margin compared to that first race, DJ.
Yeah, and it's see what he can do here. See if the boys up the back can break away from the other pack and charge down to try and take the win of him.
ISAR, Benjo, Warpath 360. He makes a move on ISAR. Yes, he does, and he makes a great move on Benjo 19 there. So well done on Warpath. He's been getting himself late on the brakes there, really abusing the brake drum, the brake pads on the Nissan GTR, but he's putting them to great use, and he must have got himself a few extra brake pads from his engineers and just said, well, I want to brake a little bit harder into this corner, and I want to try and get as close as I can to Sirik there. And they've just provided him the goods with an overtake on Benjo 19.
Yeah, exactly.
As we see down the order, we got SS Boy making a move on Benjo, but Benjo for some reason pulls out and pulls behind, and he's dropped himself down into 4th place, 5th place. What's going on there? What's he thinking as you get the replay on? So, yes, it is a penalty. So well done, Benjo, for reading the driver's briefing and understanding about the penalty burn zone. So well done, son. I didn't know you had a penalty there. So great job. That unfortunately relegates him down to 4th place as he's having a battle with his own teammate Renegade 4701 in the white Lexus. So we've got ourselves the Nissans are being a little bit outnumbered now, 4-2, but still Nissans lead the way 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. As you see a nice delivery there from Renegade. It's good to see him jumping in again, adding another car to the field.
Exactly, it has been a little while since we've seen Renegade in the Trackstars community, so good to see he's showing his support for the TS3, and maybe think about maybe putting a permanent entry full time so he can actually do both races. He thinks about a move on his teammate. No, he doesn't. So he holds 5th place with NZL Cowboys. A scrap going on here for 4th place. But looking up towards the front, nobody is challenging Sirik. He's got himself opened up a 4-second margin over Warpath here, and it's just showing just great class for Sirik with Warpath right behind. And like I said, just the Nissan just feels like it is quite a stable car, the most dominant car out of the 3 cars. Any kind of balance or performance you make with these cars, it's always a Nissan that always comes out on top.
Yeah, and obviously in the main series, the Nissans have been a bit down the field, but obviously for the last few weeks and stuff like that, Brandosa's been the top performing one, and he's been kind of tickling the podium there. I think he got a maiden podium last event, didn't he?
I believe so. And the one driver that we had that made his debut and won all races was Ridwan F1 from the Robo Sport camp, the newest signing for the Robo Sport racing team in Ridwan F1, taking all 3 victories in his Nissan GTR on debut. But when you have a great debut, winning all 3 races, you cop it in the ballast, don't you?
Definitely, I can tell you firsthand from that one, my friend, and I'm sure you can as well.
Exactly. So there's plenty of us. There's been a few heavy boys here with the ballast, but you know, but as you make a great debut and have a great outing, then you pay for it. But that's the great thing about the ballast is it gives new drivers a great opportunity to potentially score their first win in Trackstars.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously you'll get the ballast and you'll hold it for 5 races, and then on the 6th race you'll be back to whatever the weight was before you got the ballast from getting a podium. And obviously people don't know the TS2 and TS3 don't have ballast. It is only in the main series. Let's just try and even things out a little bit.
And definitely evening things out, especially with the Honda NSXs there. You know, you and I and the Lexus, we've all been having our struggles here, and everyone's been complaining about that you complain too much. But we've been showing some good performances in the Lexus with its updated balance of performance there, and I think through early testing signs here at the Nürburgring, it's looking quite promising, and the Lexus actually doesn't feel too bad around here.
Yeah, well, obviously I haven't tested much, but from the minimal testing that I've done, the Lexus does feel really, really nice through here. But we'll see what the NSX boys and the Nissan boys have to say about that one.
Going back towards the action here, it's still Sirik leading the way for the ISAR Racing Group, the Kiwi from the ISAR Racing Camp, Warpath 360, still a Nissan 1-2, but looks like SS boys going to be trying to reduce that gap to Warpath 360. So M&R versus WRT Motorsport versus ISAR. So this basically has the potential to be like a Mashbuzz Racing, RoboSport Racing, and it's racing esports rivalry, but down in TS3. So if these guys commit and they can get some great performances and great battles, then it'll be one to talk about as the years go by.
Yeah, and obviously with the TS2 and TS3, we don't actually have a teams championship, but it's good to see these guys representing teams when they do move up in the field, as you do in the main series with the teams championship as well as the drivers championship. As SS Boy thinks it's Formula Drift in the Lexus, but sorry, my friend, but that car doesn't drift very well.
No, it doesn't. Unless you give it really slippery tires, give it some comfort softs, and you might be able to do it. So. But we'll see Benjo just dropping down the order to Renegade and just flashing the lights there at Renegade. That was a little bit interesting gesture from Benjo on his teammate. But anywho, it's still Benjo 19 in 5th place with NZL Cowboy rounding up the top 6. So it may look like a small lobby today, yes, but hopefully as the next 10 rounds go by, we'll hopefully see that grow soon enough and hopefully get some more action-packed races. But if you have to go by favourites, it looks like Sirik is leading the way by a comfortable margin.
Yeah, exactly, and having new drivers join in at different tracks. This track might be Sirik's favourite one, but the next track we go to, he may drop down the field, which then will bring the other drivers closer. But that'll all be sorted out by the managers with the drivers' championship, and hopefully one of these can pull out the championship at the end of the season.
next year is going to provide definitely a definite interest when it comes to picking the top 7 teams that will compete for the EBM Elite Braking Mechanical Trackstars touring cars in 2022. So it'll be one for the series management, for you, myself, It's Racing and Robo Sport to have a long discussion about, because these new teams coming in 2021, we just our options are growing.
Yeah, the amount of teams that have come through, it's an outstanding effort, and not only that, just to see how big Trackstars has gotten over the last like 11 or 12 months is just phenomenal.
I guess in a way, talking on a personal level, I guess it kind of encouraged you, like it kind of gave you a bit of encouragement to come back to sim racing, or at least playing Gran Turismo Sport, because you were off in your little fairyland playing on the Call of Duty. But then I contacted you one day and said, look, we've got Formula Racing here in at Bathurst, would you be interested? And you said, yeah, I'll give it a crack. And since that day, you've never looked back.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, I jumped in to help Justin last year at the 1000 because his co-driver couldn't attend. So then I jumped in there, had a few hiccups in the first slot, but then I believe we ended up coming 4th in that one, just behind you guys with Diswood and yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So the big event's coming up sooner as we expected, ladies and gentlemen. We've got ourselves our Trackstars touring cars and Enduros coming up, where we have the first round at the Kyoto, where it'll be the Kyoto 500 on September 9th all the way to September 12th. So it's going to be a long day, followed by in October the special one and the Hail Mary Bathurst 1000. So back with a vengeance from last year. Can Speedy Tyres go 2 from 2 with a strong pairing combination with Diswood, who came 3rd, like you mentioned, with myself in last year's Bathurst 1000? So that'll also be another team to look out for. But in our final round, and it's going to be the final round of the championship, actually, it's going to be the St. Croix C 1500. So that'll be a great way to end the championship on a high note with an endurance, and possibly either a new champion or a defending champion taking the honours.
Yeah, exactly, and we're slowly starting to see a lot of the driver combinations come through with a lot of main series and TS2s. You see Renegade. Oh, what's going on there? Oh,
goes a little bit wide, and it's just that little clip that he had on SS Boy just gave him a bit of hesitation there. As we see a replay, didn't even think about making a move there, but he just must have got a little bit too heavy on the brakes there. But unless SS Boy just got a bit of a slow exit, and yep, as we do know, DJ, once you apply that tiny a fraction amount of throttle too much, that's what it does to you.
Yeah, it just spits you out and says, "Ta-ta, you can eat the fence now."
Exactly. So it's still a great showing. So no fault in that. That was SS Boy's corner, and obviously if he's struggling it like he is right now, drifting it through the corner, so he definitely hasn't got the memo from you. Oh no, that was NZL Cowboys. So they're both M&R boys having a go at drifting. So that's a bit of an interesting tactic there. Like not much tyre wear, only 1 times tyre wear, so not much doing there, and the tyres don't really wear out that much, and have a bit of fun, I guess, in the first round of TS3.
Yeah, exactly. Just get your feel for the car, see how they handle, and obviously some of them are finding out that they don't do a bit of Formula Drift there. So if you want to go be like Dai Yoshihara, my friend, these cars aren't the ones the way to do it.
Unless you enable the drift tune on these cars, then that can be something else. I can imagine the drift tunes that we used to do in the Honda NSXs, only probably the last year or the last few years we've been drifting that car around the track, and it is so fun. It's just so enthralling. But that's what I love about these old Group 2 cars. They're just fun. They just bring back the hard racing. There's not really much. The dirty air doesn't really affect the cars, and it's just really like great close racing. And unfortunately, as the years and technology evolves, with the compact downforces and the high-end front end and the rear downforces and wing and like little bit tiny like pieces of engineering, like great engineering, don't get me wrong, but I guess for a racing spectacle, it kind of has its ups and downs compared to what we see with these older cars.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, you see all your new cars having a lot more downforce. The shape of the car and the drag and other things like that. The mechanic, as you said, the mechanical engineering of the cars can obviously change over the years. And as you see in supercars themselves, obviously they're getting faster and faster as the cars go more aerodynamic and stuff like that. And with GT3 cars as well, they're getting a lot faster. So as obviously as the years progress, and they get like a lot faster and faster. But it's good to see a lot of the mechanical engineering advancements and all the different like splitter types and wing types and all that kind of things. It can make such a big difference with such a little change.
Exactly, and I believe now, like within the next, at least within the next few years, it's just the engineering's just going to get better, and hopefully and now it's going to bring closer racing. So the clever minds of the future of motorsport is actually now bringing it back to its glory days from the early 70s and 80s, back when the cars basically had no rear wing and basically had no front splitter, and that's what we're going to see with the new specs come the supercars with the Chevy Camaro and the Ford Mustang. We're basically going to have nothing on that car.
Yeah, exactly. And they're obviously going to have to drive the car through the corner and have to handle. And I don't know about you, but bring back H pattern shifting, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't love a H pattern? That's just the epitome of great driving. And even if you're going to introduce that in the new specs of Formula One, that'd be great as well. But I'm not so sure if a 22-year-old Max Verstappen knows how to drive a manual gearbox, a H pattern gearbox. He's probably been used to the all automatic and shifter paddles. But put him in a H pattern. I don't know if he's gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine going from 8th gear to 2nd gear in a matter of like 2.1 seconds in a H pattern gearbox. I don't know about you, but I ain't no Dominic Toretto.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's pretty funny. But yeah. But hopefully, like, I mean, obviously, it is a dream, like, for all motorsport fans, like hardcore motorsport fans. You want the driver to be driving the car, not let, like data or let, like, technology drive the car for you and make it easy. You put the car in second position. Oh yeah, you might as well maintain second position. You might challenge first, but you might not get first because it's too hard to overtake. So it'll be great to see over the next, at least probably the next couple of years, with Formula One introducing a new spec of Formula Racing in 2022, and then supercars with their new spec of racing in mid to late 2022. I believe that's what their announcement was. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it produces some great racing. But if not, then I guess it's back to the drawing board.
Yeah, exactly. And go back to the Sydney Super Night. Not last year, the year before, they ran minimal data, and they couldn't get certain amounts of data from their cars, and you had a lot of different other teams up the front that didn't rely so much on data themselves, that they could just let the driver do the talking, provide them a base setup, and then let the driver handle the rest.
And I do recall that, and that is something that was really great. And that event, like with the minimal data, that actually brought out like the driver itself, like a driver's driver. Like no computers, no gadgets, no laptops, no tablets, just you in the car, just feeling it and putting on a great show. And like they did, and they put on an excellent performance last year at the Sydney Super Sprint. So hopefully we might get to see that with the new spec cars in mid to late 2022, but we'll see. But getting back to the action, we are getting a bit sidetracked because it is only our first round, and hopefully we get to see more drivers. But I guess we can't take our eyes off Sirik, who's just been putting on a dominant performance in the ISR racing group at Nissan GTR.
Yeah, exactly. He's putting in an excellent performance here, and he's just driven away from Warpath. He's just gapped the field, and looks like he's got a great handle on that Nissan, and it'll be good to see what's yet to come in the rest of the series, as he runs really wide. And my friend, the racetrack is not that far out there.
He thinks he's taken that section when it comes for the full Nürburgring 24-hour event, where you can abuse that, and even like in the GP circuit, you can abuse the hell out of that track extension and not get a penalty unless there's like but I do believe there is like a little timing sensor somewhere far left that it will just say, "Nah, I'm sorry, you've gone too far," even though you've already gone far, which is quite funny. So as we see a great battle here between the M&R boys and Benjo 19, holding it out for hopefully getting a another podium position for Benjo 19 in the ISR Lexus there. So unfortunately not going to be able to do that because the M&R boys have a game plan and they've managed to hold off Benjo 19. But the one person they couldn't get a game plan on for tonight is this man, Sirik, in the 98 ISR Racing Group Black Nissan GTR, representing his hometown, his homeland of New Zealand. So a nice little livery design there that Benjo's whipped up for him. But for the final time, for the final race here at Trackstars in the TS3 touring cars, it is going to be Sirik for the ISR Racing Group taking out the victory and a clean sweep here for the first round here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars. So congratulations to Sirik on a great performance this evening, with Warpath getting a double podium, double second position there in his Nissan, getting himself up into the thick end of it, and hopefully getting himself some great experience for the next, at least for the next few 10 rounds to come.
Yeah, exactly. As we still see the fight on back here between Benjo, looks like NZL Cowboys dropped to the back and
Yeah,
Renegades.
I was going to happen. What happened to NZL Cowboy? What if we made a mistake or got hit off there? But and on that note, that is TS3 Racing, boys. So that is great. It is great to see just the nice little celebration there, and just a nice little welcome to TS3 Racing. And yeah, so
replay cut off. Ah, damn.
well,
that
that's
was
okay. We definitely saw that. So as we see towards the victory page, nobody can stop this man, Sirik from ISR Racing Group, taking out the double and taking a clean sweep here at Trackstars TS3 touring cars for round one here at the German Sprints. So wow, what a great showing for these guys, and especially that first race. Any race that you introduce for the first time, everyone just gets on board and then just absolutely just abuses the car and just pushes it to the very limit, which is great to see.
Yeah, exactly, and it's good seeing these guys getting a handle of the car and seeing how well they handle and getting their heads around it to see what they can do for the rest of the season.
So what was a great performance this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you the inaugural round of touring cars. It is the TS3 Touring Car Series, the old model spec models, emulating basically Super 3. So even like the Super 3 guys, they're still running the old BE FGs. I think I even saw maybe a BA Falcon and a VZ Commodore not long ago as well. So getting out the old girls out, getting them out for another drive, and putting some great drivers in capable, and putting the cars in very good capable hands of these drivers, and especially for Sirik tonight.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to see Sirik pull off the clean sweep there. He done a phenomenal job fighting off Benjo and Warpath for the inaugural win and round win of the TS3 Trackstars round one at the German. Lovely race around the Nürburgring GP.
On behalf of myself and DJ SX Pointed, we'd like to thank you guys so much for tuning in for the inaugural campaign that is Trackstars 3 Touring Cars Series. So on behalf of ourselves, we would like to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and hopefully get to see you guys, and maybe even see you guys on the track in the TS3 cars, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. But for now, on behalf of myself and DJ, we'll see you